What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Hustle Decoded. If this is your first time here, my name is Kelvin. I am the founder and CEO of the Hustle Decoded, where we focus on entrepreneurship from the ground up. And on this channel, what we like to do is we like to talk about the fundamental life skills that you're going to need in order to get to the next level. Now, in today's episode, I want to do a special kind of consultation, if you will, on some business solutions that some of these companies could be doing in the midst of what we got going on right now. It's tough out there. The reason why I wanted to do this really quickly is because the news has according to the news, there's two restaurants that are not going to be opening up for good, and they've been around for quite a long time. And what it is it's just it is the nature of the economics of what's taking place right now. One of those being Sweet Tomatoes, the other one being Soup Plantation. So what I wanted to do was try to provide some solutions of what needs to take place in order for these other companies that are still around, teetering on the fence or whatever the case may be, to survive and possibly thrive through what's going on right now. Because the reality is this is not going to go away anytime soon. And what I want to preach to my new entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, and so forth, this is the new economy, and these are some of the things that you're going to need to do in order to thrive in this type of economy. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm going to talk about three different places, and two of them are actually interconnected, and talk about some of the scenarios with those, and then some of the things that need to happen in order for them to thrive through a situation like this and go beyond. All right, so let's get into it. One of the businesses that has been deemed unessential according to the local and federal government is some of the retail stores. You might be selling clothes, you might be selling things that are not necessarily needs according to the local and federal government, and so for that reason you might have had to close your business. Restaurants, you have restaurants that are doing takeout only, but because you're not getting the revenues that you intended on getting, or getting the revenues that you should be getting with the dine-in service, which I'll talk about in detail here in a second, you're not making the revenues that you need to make. For the resale business, and this one is near and dear to my heart because I have a family member who has a resale business, and due to the economic situation, so to speak, their business was deemed unessential, and they might be facing the situation where they might have to close. But these are some of the solutions that I think some of these individuals can come up with in the meantime, either to strategize or to move their company forward in the present and in the future. Okay, so one of the ones that I'm going to talk about really in particular, because I think these two are interconnected, the resale business and the retail business. I want to talk about restaurants specifically, okay? So when we talk about restaurants, from what I understand, is when they get a building, right? When you get a building, all the seating that you have in there, each particular seat you have allocated for a dollar amount of how much you want to make either that night or that month or whatever the case may be, so you can get your profits and you can make your lease. The economy is opening back up, which is great, which is it's fantastic news. But the thing about it is, reality wise, you have some people that are not going to be doing the same things that they were doing. Things are not really back to normal, but at the end of the day, there's individuals out here that really need to make money, and so yeah, we're just in a real catch-22. These states are going broke, unemployment is running out, the essential outweigh the unessential when it comes to who's working and who's not, and it's not enough to sustain the economy or the people. So there's just a lot going on. But again, with the restaurants, getting back to the restaurants, even though the economy is opening back up, things are not going to be the way that they used to be. Okay, for instance, they're putting laws in place or rules in place in order for you to open up, meaning you have to, for instance, put up plexiglass, or you have to seat every other booth, or and this is including bars or whatever the case may be. You have to do every other seat and all this other stuff. From what I understand, you businesses have not allocated for that. All of the seats that you have in there, you allocated to have money for. So even though you're opening back up because you desperately need the money, the reality is you're not going to get the revenue that you need to get because you're not getting the amount of in dining seating that you were getting prior to the pandemic and this whole economic situation. So one of the things that I am proposing, and I have it right behind me, is you need to go completely, you need to do, well, you need to do a couple of things. First and foremost, the new economy is digital. You need to embrace online, and you need to embrace the mobile space, okay? A lot of these local businesses in particular, you know, I and I'm sure other consumers in your local vicinity, we don't know that you're doing takeout because you don't have a social media presence, as an example. You don't have a website or things of that nature that is, or you're not on Google or whatever the case may be. You're not marketing in the present economy. So that is going to hurt your business. The other thing that is going to hurt your business, again, when we talked about not having enough seating. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to double down on takeout. But not only double down on takeout, but you also need to market on these social media platforms. You need to market on Facebook. You need to market on Instagram. You need to put out a website or whatever the case may be. And maybe you're not the most tech savvy person on the planet, but you have individuals or staff that you may have kept on that is the younger generation or whatever the case may be. One of the things that you can do is you can have them just take a couple of pictures for the social media platform, make it for your business, and start putting it out to the masses. Ad spending, okay, again, I know this is all tech savvy stuff or whatever the case may be, but the ad spending right now is extremely cheap. You can actually reach a lot of people with as little as $100. You can actually reach a good mass of people just in your local area to get them to up the amount of takeout so you can boost your business. You have to get onto the online space. I understand there's people that are out there that have been shaky. There's things that I've seen, like having signs out on the street. All that sounds nice and good for the cars that are passing by, but you need to have an online presence. Before they even look on the street, they're going to be looking at their phone. Before they look on the street, they're going to be on their computers. Okay, so you need to start establishing your online presence. Okay, for the resale business and for the antique business or whatever the case may be, you also need to double down online. Get rid of your lease. You're in the resale business, you're in the antique business, you're in a business where you're just, again, reselling products or whatever the case may be. You need to take your big box store where you have a lease every month, and you need to get out of the big box store, the physical store, I should say, not big box, but just get out of the physical store and take your presence online. First and foremost, hosting your website is going to be a lot cheaper than the lease. That's the first thing. The second thing is, again, the marketing, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all free. So you can get the marketing out there. If you have some young people that work within your staff that are able to, or younger people, because the antique business, let's be honest, is for a lot of the older generation. And I think that it's also our job as the younger generation to kind of help the older generation kind of get through this thing as well, right? But I digress. You want to get a social media presence, and you want to go fully online. You want to go from a physical commerce store to a what they call e-commerce store. And there's a couple of ways to do that. You can fulfill your orders by Amazon, which again, Amazon's got Amazon's getting a lot of blowback right now because of the commissions being slashed and things of that nature. But you can sell your products on Amazon as a small business. They still support online e-commerce and using them as a platform. If you don't feel comfortable with that because you don't like the margins that you're getting, the other alternative is to open up your own, and then having your own website in your specific niche, and then marketing on the social media platforms, taking a couple of pictures, just talking about some of the things that you're selling, have your marketing campaigns or whatever the case may be. But you need to take your physical store. That's the goal. That's the point. You need to take this physical store of yours and you need to go completely online. I'm talking about retail and I'm talking about resell. Restaurants, again, to get back to you guys, you need to double down on your takeout, and you need to get smaller spaces. So takeout should be your primary mode of delivering food. Okay, and then you need to double down on your marketing, and then also you need to double down on delivery. I'm just gonna ask you an open-ended question. So being that most people are getting their food delivered to them, why would I want to go dine in at a restaurant? From the little research that I've done, a lot of people that want to dine in are older because that's what they're used to. They're used to dining in at restaurants. A lot of the younger generation are people that have families or whatever the case may be, and everybody has busy lives, jobs, things of that nature. You know what they're doing? They're getting takeout really quick on the way home from their job, or they're getting takeout really quick because they don't feel like cooking or whatever the case may be. So for that, you need to be doubling down on the marketing on these social media platforms. Facebook, it's absolutely free. Make a page. Shoot a couple of pictures of the food that you guys provide. The list goes on. Instagram, same thing. Take a couple of pictures. Talk about having the sale of some of the food that you guys have going out. Tell them that you support the local community. Have a marketing campaign, and then you're going to have to double down on the delivery. Again, most people are either going to do one of two things, especially in this new economy. They are either going to get takeout or they're going to get the food delivered to them. So you have to be able to allocate for that type of service. Okay? Hopefully some of these things are helpful to you. One of the things that I'll be really harping down on this channel when people start their businesses is that you have to embrace the new economy. There is no real getting around what we're kind of dealing with right now, but this is the new economy. This is the digital age. If you were feeling a little shaky about the technology and all this other stuff, listen, you're gonna have to adapt, because if you do not adapt, like a lot of these businesses that we're seeing one by one, like a Sweet Tomatoes or a soup kitchen, even buffets are gonna be at stake. You either adapt to the new economy or you die. And with that, I'm signing off.